Hi folks, welcome to the Sabre Zone. This is the video that is on the channel to discuss what you guys got to say. I got one, quickie, and I'll show you the clip. I'm gonna start doing that now, like I did last video. It's by Evil Jim. Evil Jim says, when other teams and players are not at least a little nervous to play you, it makes it easy for them to do whatever they want. Can't get better that way. And Jim is spot on what he's saying. And Evil Jim, we got to get a little more evil. There you go. That's the answer to the Sabres' woes and problems right now and lackluster performances that we've been seeing recently with these wuss efforts, because yes, we looked good, and yes, we played well, and yes, we also have been taken advantage of last game. You know, we sat back on our heels, let them jump up 3-0, and wind up losing a game we dominate at the end. And this is going to go on, I believe, guys, till we straighten out the physical game, period. If we don't straighten that out, we cannot expect realistically, and I'm telling you right now, when the Oilers had Gretzky, they had Dave Semenko, they had guys that were going to take you out if you get close to trying to beat that team. You need to have some tough in your lineup to win. And we can debate all we want about speed, transition game, talent. If there's no element of tough, and I do agree we need all that though. Some of you have said that to me thinking, I just think we need a team that fights. No, we need talent. We need a transition game. We need strategy about cross passes and dump ins and chase patterns. We need to do all those things. Of course, we need to do all those things, but we also need to be intimidating. And if the Sabres aren't intimidating, I don't care what you say, the Boston Bruins with less talent in the future will beat us in a best of 7. Okay? They will. And I don't want that day to come when we start getting on track and we're playing good again. I want the Sabres to be up to the challenge of hitting back like them. I mean, it would be just insane that we get this team developed and all these young studs come in and we're doing good and we have no element to being tough. Because if we don't do that, I'm worried. I am worried, guys. And I'm going to tell you right now, as far as I'm concerned, Granato better get this straightened out. He's going to be fired probably by the end of next year. Probably by the end of next year. Because all we're going to do is have the same result. There's a thing in AA called the definition of insanity. Okay, he's doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And we're doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And we're getting the same results. We lose. And in order to change that, it can't just be a culture change like a lot of people think. It has to be more. There has to be somebody that steps up one day and has had it, and then go out there and lays 5 hits and knocks 2 guys out or whatever it is. Like, there's got to be some sort of shift in that dressing room where being soft is unacceptable, and it hasn't happened. Not under Granato. And I'm telling you, as much as I like Granato, I'm running out of patience when it comes to that part. I don't care about the wins, losses this year, but if we're going to be soft, no, I'd rather have another coach. I'd rather have another coach. As much as Granato's a likable chap when you watch him in interviews and players seem to love him and respect him and all this and that, but they said the same thing about Kruger and we seen how that ended, remember? Didn't they all say they love Kruger and that he was this great coach? Well, what happened? So we got to get that going. We got to get that element of our game going because, you know, to make a 4-course meal, you don't put 3 things. You got to have the whole package. It's like a pie the way I look at it, guys. You got to split it. You got to have the aggression. You got to have the talent. And then you got to have the knowledge that you gain from that. And then, of course, the playoff experience after. So these things are all going to come, but we're not going to go deep in a playoff run like this. I'll tell you right now, it's not going to happen. We're wasting our time. I don't care for first overall. I'll be nervous. I won't be excited. I'll be nervous. There's got to be some sort of grooming on this team just to make them I don't care if they're number one. I just want to be in the top 10 or 15. I don't want to be dead last in this department. I don't want to be dead last in anything no more. I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up being last in anything as a Sabres fan. I don't want to be last in anything. Nothing. There should be no statistic that it's acceptable we're dead last in. None. And I don't know how Granato allows this to go on. I don't know. I don't know. People say, well, you know, once the team's better, what about if the team's better? If the same system is there? If the same system is there, nothing's going to change, except we're going to score a bit more. But when it comes to a best-of-7 series, we're going to get killed against a team like Boston in a series, or Washington. A team like that would kill us in no time. They'd put us lights out. We'd be out in five games max, probably win one in overtime. We got to prepare properly for the war that's coming, for the war that's coming, which is our Stanley Cup year. We got to prepare for that ahead of time, not then, now. We got to get this done now. We got to prepare now, because if we prepare now, we're a step ahead of the game. I want to be ahead of the game by the time that, because we don't know when that year's coming, neither do they. But once we're in it, they're going to know all of a sudden. When we're in the Final Four and it's 2-2 in the semifinals, the Stanley Cup's a very real thing all of a sudden. No matter where you were just 2 years ago, if you were like a team that missed the playoffs, and here you are 2 years later, 2 wins from the finals, which can happen, right? We got to be ready for that. We can't take this lightly. We have to prepare like we're going to win a Stanley Cup eventually. I played enough hockey in my life, folks. I know how much, and so have you. I know how much it means when a team is out there and we're more physical than them. You know. Anybody that's been in the trenches knows that that is one element of the game that when you're doing it, you don't want to negotiate it. You want to be in their heads. You want to be tougher. You know? How many fighters just dance around the ring and don't throw a punch and win the belt? How many? You know? It's the same thing in hockey. You got to be tough. You have to have that element of your game or forget it. I can't think of the last Stanley Cup champion that was soft. Even Carolina, in their championship year, they dominated Edmonton in Game 7 in hits. Dominated them. It was the first thing I looked for, and they did it. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that are good and bad about this team right now. One of the bad things is our ability to be easy to play against, like Evil Jim's talking about. Till we change that, we're going to be easy to play against. Let's not deny it. Let's not pretend. You know, people say, well, teams that hit more are chasing teams. Okay, you're telling me the Sabres haven't been chasing games this year? Let's use that aspect. It's BS, but I'll use it. If teams that only hit more, which Tampa Bay is one of them, but let's just pretend for a second. I'll play that game. People say, well, teams that hit more are chasing games. Okay, then why aren't the Sabres hitting more? Have we been in total dominance of our games this year? Or like, you know, are we not chasing games night after night after night after night? I think we are. So I don't want to pretend. I just don't. I can't do the fake thing, guys. All right, let's get on it. Let's get this team a little tougher. Let's get this team tougher because a lot of talent is in the pipelines up and coming soon, and we don't want them coming to a wuss system, okay? Trying to be diplomatic about this, but it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. I'd rather have a team hitting hard, losing more. I would, because I know we're headed to the right place eventually. It just drives me crazy. That's it. That's my little rant on this. I'll see you folks in the next video. Later on this afternoon, I plan to put out quite a few today. See you then.